Hey everybody, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the VOD Squad, the show where we talk about streaming technology. This is episode 154, October 16th, 2019. I am Clyde, and today I am joined by... Am I? Oh, yes, I'm joined by Matthew Ross.
Apparently I was muted. Yes, hi!
Michael Aston.
Hello, everybody.
And Jimmy Trammell.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Yeah, it's going. It's another week closer to winter. We got snow the other day. Luckily, it didn't stay. We didn't get slammed like North Dakota, but screw North Dakota.
Okay.
I lived there for several years.
Winter has come, huh?
That's all they got is like corn and snow. Oh, sunflowers. Lots of sunflowers.
Oh, okay. Hey,
And snow.
Would be in okay. That was just like with sunflowers. And where it snows a lot, must be a summer crop. Interesting.
So, what's new?
Mostly just nothing really. Can't think of anything new. Nothing really is happening in the world at all.
Okay.
No.
Well, then, great show, everybody.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining me.
You're welcome.
Do a short episode so Mike can go to bed.
Tired, Mike? You ready to go to bed? All right. Sounds good.
Okay. So,
Right.
what do we got going on?
Well, we do have some news for the week. We have Netflix, and they're ending support for some of the older models of Roku players. If you are using one of the old Rokus, like the Roku HD, the Roku HD XR, the original SD and XS, XD, these models are going to be dropping support as soon as December 1st. So you only have a little bit more time, a little more than a month for you to use these old devices to watch Netflix, which quite frankly, if you ask me, I'm going to guess that there's not much other things that is still compatible on these old boxes.
No,
point, so.
I mean, Roku itself warned, it was back in 2015, said, hey, anything produced before May of 2011 are vintage, and we're not going to be supporting them much longer anymore either.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised that Netflix was still working. But, you know, if you haven't bought a new Roku since before 2011,
you're going to have an awesome update.
It's time.
$39 and you're going to have a huge upgrade.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, even the remote, I saw that picture and I was like, I don't even remember when a Roku remote looked like that.
They always had the little purple tag.
Oh, yeah. Though. I mean, that's the Roku thing, but
I like it.
But I mean, the shape of that remote, the candy bar shape, I don't remember ever seeing that because that was before I ever used a Roku. So, yeah.
I think my dad might still have one of the Roku XDs at his house if it's still working. He might have replaced it by now, but he had that and he ran that for a long time. But he might have updated by now. But so maybe there's probably a few of them out there.
I would actually love to see the numbers from Roku. Because they know how many devices they're checking in from each generation. So
right.
I'd really like to see those numbers.
Yeah, I mean, that would be very interesting, but I doubt we'll find out, unfortunately. Hey, if you heard last week about us talking about the Sling TV's new streaming service, the one that they went ahead and launched on Roku devices, I don't think it'll work on that old Roku device that we just talked about before. they are now expanding the availability of their free streaming service to the Amazon Android and Amazon devices. This means you will be able to watch free episodes of various shows like Hell's Kitchen and Hunter and Third Rock from the Sun for free, and just try it out for the Sling service to try out for free.
Yeah, it's great. Ad-supported content, free, is always good. The more you can get, the better. This is following on the heels of what Roku's been doing with the Roku channel and other things. So, more the better.
I need to compile a list of all the various free services out there, and like what they generally offer, and how they support it, being free or donation or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Be an interesting list.
Well, didn't Sling purchase Pluto, or was that Viacom?
No, Viacom purchased Pluto.
Okay, I couldn't remember.
And Pluto is still free, but
but Pluto's doing some of the same, because with Viacom content. So,
which is pretty awesome, actually.
Cool.
In the wait, this wasn't already a thing. A corner of things. Hulu is bringing 4K to the Xbox One. Basically, you thought that it was something that Hulu was already doing for you. If you have an Xbox One, if you have an Amazon Fire TV or an LG Smart TV, you can start seeing 4K version of the content. Is it already starting, or is it going to start soon? Today, as of today.
Yeah. Or that was as of a couple days ago, so it should be there.
As of now.
Yes.
I love your summary of it because it's totally true. It's kind of one of those, I'm paying for Hulu. I'm supposed to get 4K streaming, so you just expect that's what you're getting, and you don't quite notice that it's as good looking as you expected, but you probably don't really pay enough attention to notice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now you know that those occasional questions that creeped into the corner of your mind about whether this was really 4K, it wasn't. And hopefully now it will be.
Yeah, because they started bringing 4K to, I think PlayStation 4 and Roku previously.
Right.
We talked about that. So now it's on Xbox One and Amazon Fire TVs and LG TVs. So rock on.
It's great.
Video resolution, it's a fascinating subject for people like me who really usually can't tell the difference anyway. So I rented a video recently, and I wasn't offered the option to rent it in standard definition. That was interesting.
Yeah, I don't notice a difference when they make these changes, primarily because my TV is 1080p. So
exactly. There is a subtle difference for you. It is actually better.
I get 4K because of the different packages I subscribe to and my hardware. Right. Just don't have any way to display it. So.
Downscaling looks great, dude.
Yeah, it's fine.
You will find, I think, when you start watching content in 4K, that there is a noticeable difference. It's just a subtly noticeable difference.
Sure, subtle.
And if you're not, and it really impacts certain scenes significantly more than other scenes. You notice 4K in scenes where there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of detail in the background, and the other things are like things where there's gradations and stuff like that.
If they were smart, the place they would spend the most attention on detail to 4K would be commercials. Get you to go, ooh, what is, and then next thing you know, you sat through an entire commercial.
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't need to see commercials in 4K. Thanks. I mean,
well,
give it
if you have a 4K TV, you probably are.
I don't know. So if you're interested in Microsoft Project xCloud, they are starting to allow people who've signed up for the public preview to start testing it. They've selected some users out there to try it with various games like what they've got. What did I just saw? Halo 5, Gears 5, Killer Instinct, and Sea of Thieves available to play right now if you are one of the lucky ones to try the system out.
Okay.
This is their streaming gaming service that will be allowing you to play either on an Xbox or a compatible computer or a compatible Android phone.
Yeah. I guess good for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was confused as what this was when I first saw the story. I thought they were talking like Xbox One. I was like, don't they already have this? But yeah, I mean, if you can stream Microsoft-based games to your Android phone,
Yep.
awesome.
Yeah.
What would be the cost of this?
Their Xbox Gaming Pass is going to be costing I forget how much. I think it's $20 a month for
it's
$9.99 or $20 a month for
like,
everything.
It needs to be comparable to the other services that are all right around $10.
Right, and they're doing the monthly. They're doing the Netflix style service where you rent out. You pay a fee and you get a series of games that you can play on those services on the various compatible devices. And Microsoft has basically doubled down on Android as one of their platforms, and so you can expect all your Android phones.
Well, I mean, and Microsoft likes you to use Android because they get money from several of the patents that. So everybody that buys an Android device, they get a cut of the money. So, absolutely.
Like patents. That's the thing. Well, not to be undone, Google also announced, they had a lot of announcements at their big Google event, and almost none of them had anything to do with streaming, except that they announced that the date for Google Stadia will officially be November 19th for the people who purchased that early Founders Edition, and that they will be offering the base subscription, which will be starting next year.
Rock on.
Awesome. Yep.
Now that I've been using PlayStation Now, I don't know if I was interested in this, but I don't want to play on a Chromecast. That's the thing that's the sticking point for me.
Okay, what's wrong with the Chromecast?
I don't know. That's another device I have to connect to my TV that I'm not going to use for anything else.
Gotcha.
And if based on the list of games, they're games I can already get for the same price from another service. Right. And now that my living room has wired Ethernet or wired network, PlayStation Now is actually even better. So I don't know.
So their model is different. You can pay a monthly fee and get a series of games that they're going to be sent to you. Or the way I'm looking at it is that you can pay for the game once and then you never have to pay again for a 1080p gameplay. Yeah. Which is actually the way I'm looking at it, except their list of games are just not my style of games for the most part. So I was actually fairly excited about this, and I was fairly excited for the standard platform. But as of right now, nothing's really jumped out at me that like, oh, this is one of the games I want to get. And I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, the article does say the service costs $9.99 a month, and then next year or after the first 3 months, it costs $9.99 a month.
That's because the founders get those first 3 months for free.
So, yeah. So it's comparable to the other services, and I'm wondering. We when we talked about PlayStation Now, they lowered their price a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
And then I completely forgot about this service, and so when we said why, and it made more sense, and they're bringing it in line with this and potentially the Microsoft thing.
Yep.
So
competition good for all consumers.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think I'm excited about this. I love the idea of not having to buy a new PC every year or every 2 years in order to keep it able to run the most current games. So I'm excited for this to be successful. I feel like the model of buying computers for anything doesn't really make a lot of sense in this day and age. And I also feel like the idea of owning software also doesn't make a lot of sense. So, like when you buy a computer, you end up buying an operating system, which I don't like. I like the idea of getting rid of operating systems as an owned piece of equipment, because then it gets out of date and you got to buy it again. So I kind of am more inclined to go with a subscription based on that. So this just kind of moves everything in the right direction for me to getting away from owning hardware and just subscribing to a service that gives me the computing power that I need to do the things that I want to do. And so I love that. To me, there are some really great games. There's Baldur's Gate 3, Assassin's Creed, there's the Tomb Raider games, Final Fantasy 15. I mean, there's a slew of games that kind of fit into the adventure RPG category that I like. And there's some fun first-person shooters I think that I might also crack open and give a shot if I've got a computer that can run them, like Ghost Recon and stuff like that. But I'm very excited. I will definitely give this a shot.
Very cool.
Rock on.
Okay. Next story. Apple TV is available on Roku. Wait a second. Let me say that again. Apple TV is now available on Roku.
On Roku. I thought it was like some Australian competitor to like the Hopper. It's the Roku.
It's the Roku.
No, but guys, this is a huge deal. This is not an insignificant thing. This is Apple actually putting their service, although they were already putting it on some special TVs like LG TVs and Samsung TVs. But this is on a you can go to the store and buy one for $29 Roku device.
While this I think is a big deal, it's also I think a no-brainer because Roku isn't a direct competitor. It's not like them putting it on a Microsoft thing or an Amazon thing or, a Google thing. It's basically giving access to Switzerland.
Well, the big question was, if you were somebody who maybe you had an iPad, but you wanted to watch your Apple TV's content on your TV, but you didn't own an Apple TV, did you have to plunk down $100 to $150 for an Apple device to do that?
Or you own a Roku TV, where Roku is the OS.
And now
TV,
officially,
right?
there is another platform. The other platform is Roku, which is like the least expensive platform of them all, except for maybe Fire TV.
I mean, it's
Fire sales.
Although this move is very un-Apple, it is a smart move.
No kidding.
It expands their...
record this and go back to it because it's not very often that you'll hear Clyde say that Apple made a smart move.
Oh, God, something's wrong here.
Well, there's no tinfoil. It's just
something's wrong.
The Roku player is the number one streaming device, right? So that puts them in front of more people.
It expands their customer base in a huge way, and at the same time, it also weakens their competition, which, as you indicated, is Amazon and Microsoft and Google. So it gives them a reach into an area that weakens the position of other competitors, but strengthens them and somebody that doesn't compete directly with them in a major market. They don't, the Apple TV is not their major market, right? Selling those devices is just a way to expand their brand into another category. So teaming up with Roku makes a ton of sense. It's a great idea. I agree with you, Clyde. And
I mean, it does, kind of give clear vision here, how they're viewing this. I mean, they're viewing this to compete with guys like HBO, Showtime, those kind of guys. That's what they consider this service to be, right? So going a step into this direction makes sense if that's truly what it's going to be. So, back when we first started talking about this, I wasn't too sure what, is it going to be like Netflix? Is it going to be like Hulu or something like that? And I don't think that's what this is. I think it's more like a HBO or Showtime service is what this is.
So, Matt, what were you trying to get in there?
Well, I'm going to suppose, thinking like Apple here. Okay, Apple's thinking, okay, we've got this great box that we're trying to sell, but we also want to have our millions of people who have our shows that they've been buying through iTunes, which all of those shows are available to them. We want to give them another way to access it and out on their big screens. And Roku, it makes perfect sense. Absolutely. If there was going to be someone else that they went ahead and tilted that way and maybe offered support for another platform, who do you think it would be? Do you think it would be Amazon? I actually think it would be Google.
I mean, Android TV would bring it into many more households because a lot of cable boxes at this point are running Android TV,
right?
Including TiVo stuff.
They already have
forward.
Android support for Apple Music.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, so I'd say it would probably be Google, but if they did Android TV, then that would open the doors for it to be on Android phones too, which would be a direct competitor.
That's okay.
Yeah, I don't know. But I do want to remind you that there was this thing called iTunes.
Yes.
They released it on Windows, and it was terrible for the entire time that it existed. So is this going to be another one of those situations?
I would argue iTunes was not terrible for the first 6 months it existed.
Oh,
it actually was a very good CD ripping program. People loved it.
Yeah, my main memory of it is the minute you installed it, it says, "Oh, hey, I see you have a carefully curated and organized collection
That was like
of
in version
music.
4.
Let me just destroy that for you." Okay.
Yes.
You're welcome.
It did do that.
And then you'd spend 6 months putting it back just to have it say, "Oh, hey, let me fix that for you."
That's an excellent question. I don't know.
But yeah, I still don't know. I don't think I'll be subscribing to this service just because I haven't seen anything I'm interested in. But the fact that it's on Roku makes it 100% more likely that I would consider it. So
also, Roku is considered like the inexpensive platform, so your inexpensive buyer is on it. And for $4.99 a month is a pretty good deal for their monthly service. So if you're looking at the people who might look at that and say,
okay, I
I
take
might
that
buy
back.
that.
I take that back. Because I just remembered I am going to be forced to buy an iOS device for my child, which means I will have a year of this. So now that it's on Roku, it's 100% guarantee I will at least try it.
Might as well use it.
Yeah, before there was a 0% chance because I don't own any Apple devices to watch it on. So yeah,
you heard it here first, everybody. Clyde went from 0% to 100% to 100% more. He's 200% in on Apple TV.
No,
Yeah,
it's
but
the same 100%.
But this service here is not like buying a Mac, right? I mean, it's a service that's going to be like, HBO or something like that.
No, exactly. It was just I wasn't gonna subscribe to it because I wasn't interested in any of the content that they have announced. And then even with a free subscription, if it was only on Apple TV, there wasn't any way I was going to use it because I wasn't going to go out and buy an Apple TV just to use that service. So by putting it on, by virtue of it being on Roku, means that it's pretty much guaranteed that I'll start it up and try it at least once.
I think for all mankind, I think you might like that one, Clyde. That would be the one I would recommend.
See. I mean, there's a lot of things that that people say are really good that I'm not really interested in, like anything on CBS All Access. So,
no Star Trek for you, huh?
Yeah, I don't care about the space fight shows
and the Star Voyage.
Yes.
All right. If you were like me and really, excited about Google's VR solution, Google Google Daydream. You might be sad to hear that Google has basically canceled the Google Daydream platform. The platform was introduced with the Pixel in order to provide a premium Google Cardboard platform with a remote and giving you access to a bunch of cool games. But unfortunately, with the newest release of their Pixel, they've decided not to introduce support for the Google Daydream platform, which has got some people actually believe that Google will come out with their own standalone solution that does not require a phone to be put in.
Well, I hope they do. They need a competitor to the Oculus Go. They need or to the other one that Andrew Main's always talking about.
By they, you mean everybody Google needs a competitor.
Yes, everybody does, because right now nobody in their right mind should be using that, because you have to opt into all the Facebook crap.
There's not like a Vive Go or something like that. They haven't come out with any portable solution?
Vive is hardcore giant specs, must be tethered to your computer.
So Google could step into this place.
Oh, absolutely, and they should.
And own a piece of that market.
So let me just say, like you said, to those of you that were excited about the Daydream, I was excited about the Daydream until I used it.
I'm sorry.
Oh. I mean, the experience was fine. It was just that it was too locked down. What you could and couldn't do, and
right.
It was a very Apple kind of ecosystem, which I didn't like.
I am happy that my purchase of the game Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes became available without the VR solution.
Otherwise,
it's it was a good game. Well, no, in VR, it's a lot of fun.
Oh, no, absolutely. But I was saying, if you paid for it and then you could no longer use it, that would
exactly.
I
think that makes me a little happier.
See, I think they retired this because there's going to be some new technology that's going to get released next year that's going to make this look pretty antiquated anyway.
Who knows?
So I think that's the reason why they retired it. So why would you want to have this sitting right next to a lot of the new hardware that I think is going to get released next year?
You keep it going for the people that already have it, but when they announced they were killing it, nobody should be surprised, because that's the Google way. I mean, Daydream was always one of their projects. It wasn't an
experiment.
It was a beta. It was a beta product.
It was, they're just see what happens kind of thing.
They're willing to throw the noodles at the wall and see what sticks.
It was a beta product for developers. I mean, that's basically all it was.
Yeah. I think the idea at Google is always, come up with good ideas, try them, and if they don't catch, then fine, let it go.
Yeah.
And maybe somebody else picks it up, does it better later on, or maybe a few years later, the technology has evolved enough that somebody can come in and do it.
Yeah.
And in a lot of cases, they don't even care so much if they do it down the road, or somebody just takes the idea and does it better, because they know that they can still leverage that platform. So things like Google Glasses, even if 10 years from now somebody comes out with a Google Glass type concept that works really well, Google can still take advantage of that platform without it having to have made it and get any money off of the hardware.
Sure. I mean, they make their money off of advertisements. So anything that can be another platform for advertising is what they're doing. And you're right. And that's one thing I like about them too, that Google's one of those few companies that's not afraid to just throw a beta product out there. Right.
Yeah,
throw it out there and let's just see what happens.
There are plenty of people who really hate Google for that, but in some ways it's actually a good thing that they are able to take something, try it, and then decide, nope, it's not working, let it go. So
I mean, it's a frustrating thing if you're the kind of person that went out and bought into the Daydream thing and you really like your Daydream and then you're frustrated by it. But for the majority of us who either didn't care, didn't get involved in it, or got it and were meh about it, which seems to be the vast majority of people that bought it, it's no big deal.
All right. Here's a story. Netflix is actually doing well in the stock market. Looks like they beat expectations and are expected to make billions of dollars as expected for many years. They went ahead and had many more subscribers, and they're doing really well in international markets.
Yeah. It was about a month ago when we talked about, oh, Netflix is in for it. They've had all these losses with everybody's bailing, and this is their vindication where they go,
we're
no,
fine.
We're up like 10 points or 10% or whatever.
Yeah, they had a bad quarter. That's what happened.
Yeah,
They just had one bad quarter, and everybody went nuts over it. I remember that.
Well, how many? Maybe I missed this. How many users did they lose?
Like
that time,
300,000 or something like that. It was
worldwide, yeah.
But
and it lined up correctly where it was a lot that their last price hike, so it made sense that quarter.
Oh yeah. Right. The last price hike, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that shakes out. So
yeah, but it was like what, a couple of bucks more a month or something like that.
No.
Yeah, so I mean, their U.S. subscriber. Oh, they didn't. They had in Q2 of 2019, they had 0 million growth in subscriber in the U.S. But then in Q3, looks like almost 7 million. But
you could always be a T-Mobile subscriber like me and get Netflix for free.
Oh man, you are the shill, aren't you? All right, talking of being a shill, there's now a Yahoo video app called Yahoo Sports Finance and News, available on your Android device. If you don't remember, yes, Yahoo does have videos, and people actually like some of them, especially the one, the Yahoo Finance. Everybody seems to love that one. It's going to offer, you can customize the feed of video from it, and it's going to be Yahoo Sports, Yahoo Finance, Yahoo Entertainment, Yahoo News, and other live events that Yahoo has got available to them. I'm going to ask, is anybody interested in seeing anything from Yahoo any round?
Yahoo's still around?
Yeah. I was in with their last attempt at this when they got Community, and then they did a bunch of other TV shows, and they were great shows that ultimately went away because nobody could figure, I couldn't figure out how to get the app on my device, and if I can't figure it out, there is no way that just Joe Schmo that wants to just push a button on his TV is going to figure it out. And yeah, I don't know.
Well, yeah, the thing about it is, a lot of people still do their stock research on Yahoo.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people they get this thing where you can keep your portfolio up there, right? And all this kind of
thing.
The Yahoo
site
do the research.
Is still useful. Just don't use their email and you're fine.
Yeah.
And people still using that.
And is for the video service, I think that's, like Matt was saying, right? Is the financial news as they're looking at their stocks there on the Yahoo site. That's the reason why it's so popular, right? Yep. Or does as well as it does. Now, the bigger question would be, that makes sense, because a lot of people still use it. I guess the bigger question would be, can they expand it beyond that? That I don't know. That I kind of doubt.
All right.
Very cool. All right. Well, there are new features available in your Hulu account, which allows you to more carefully customize the various suggested videos for your Hulu feed. There is a new ability to either like or dislike videos, and dislike is basically replacing stop showing this option that Hulu already had, and it will be able to give you more better recommendations based on you putting in your input. Hey, Clyde, what do you think of this one?
This is, I would say, probably the most important news of this week, if not the last several months, because my biggest complaint about Hulu since they went to the new interface that shows you all the recommendations. It just dumps you in there.
Mhm.
Is the fact that nothing in there is anything I wanted to watch, and it was not based on what I was actually watching, because there was no way to like or dislike. Yes, you could go in and tell it to stop recommending certain shows, but it was so kludgy. You have to click on the show, go to the details, bring up additional, then go down and choose remove this from my feed. So the ability to thumb up and thumb down stuff, good. That's it.
All right. No, I agree. I think there's I want them all to give us a recommendation engine and solution, and I want them to thoroughly explain what different things mean. Like our question we had a couple weeks ago on music services, whether or not if you just like thumbs down a song, would that be just for that playlist, or if that would be, or that station, or if it would be all music altogether. All that needs to be very well understood, so we can make our music and our playlists work in any form, movie or music or whatever it is.
My only complaint is that it's rolled out now for Amazon Fire, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and LG, Samsung, Android TVs, Vizio SmartCast, and Chromecast.
Yeah.
But we're still waiting for Roku.
Okay.
So...
All right.
I gotta say, I am often confounded a little bit by companies that move away from this model. Netflix did this, and it drove Clyde absolutely insane. He wanted to quit Netflix because of it.
Well, no, the difference was because they had a better system, and they went to just a thumb up, thumb down, and which negated. Yeah. Hulu didn't have anything.
Yeah.
So this is a step up.
It is moving away from a customizability solution where the user provides as much detail and input as they can, because the thing about entertainment is it's vastly complex.
Yeah.
There is so much subtlety about why a person likes or dislikes a movie. Now, machine learning can get really good at identifying trends and patterns, and people that like those three, or that watch those three movies that you watched, are likely to watch this other movie. It can get pretty good about that. But what it doesn't understand is the subtleties of what was it about that movie that made you watch it. And you can't really get that without that deeper knowledge. And so it's like the idea of doing a trained algorithm versus other types of algorithms, and they all have things that they're really good at. I feel like this kind of solution really lends itself to a trained solution, because you can go in and tell it a lot more information, and you're also giving it more information and stuff. So the amount of complexity of entertainment is just too much for a standard machine learning algorithm to really be able to pick up. For one thing, it doesn't understand who's in the room watching with you. What I watch with my kids is very different. And if it's my account and I'm watching a movie that I enjoy with my kids, it may not be a movie that I would ever choose to watch on my own. And it maybe shouldn't have 3-star or 4 stars or whatever, 5 stars, or highly recommend.
That's where you come in. That's where the profiles come in handy, because if there's something you're going to watch with the kids, watch it on the kid profile.
And I do that a lot, but there are some shows that I do enjoy enough that I'm okay it being with the kids on my account, like YouTube stuff. YouTube's a great example, because I watch like Star Wars game stuff with my daughter on my YouTube account because I enjoy it, but it's not what I watch most of the time. Now 50% of my recommendations are Star Wars YouTube or Star Wars video games.
YouTube recommendations are fickle and weird, and careful what you look at once, because you'll get a lot more of it suddenly. And
that's right.
It's
a
bad example.
Ratings are super important, and I feel like too many systems don't want to take enough of that into account.
Okay. Well, guys, that was the news for the week, guys. Well, thank you very much.
Word. And that brings us to the point in the show where we like to thank the patrons, the people that make this show a reality every week of every month of every year. We are well into, is this third year?
Oh my goodness, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. We're well into third year. So
It feels like longer than that, quite frankly.
that's just because we've been so terrible for so long.
I know.
But you know, hopefully when we get closer to 10, we'll actually have this figured out. And
yeah, but by 10, we'll kind of like have this kind of.
Well, I mean, I've been looking at the like people that I really enjoy, and I look at how long they've been doing it, and yeah, right about 8 to 10 years seems to be the magic number when everything just kind of clicks and falls into place. So. Stick around with us for some more years, and
6 more years.
We hopefully will make it worth your while. But until then, to those of you that already find value, we appreciate your support. And if you aren't supporting us and would like to, patreon.com/the Bod Squad. All right, guys, why don't we throw it over to Big Boys Jay? And check in with the movie draft.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to your Red League Movie Draft Minute, presented by DiamondClub.tv for the week of October 14th, 2019. I'm your host, Big Voice Jay. Math tip: take the circumference of your jack-o'-lantern, yes, you have one, and divide it by its diameter. The result? Pumpkin pie. Let's go to the scoreboard. Teams BS with BNS, Movie Party, and Mixtape were all tied for last place. Still waiting for the first film. Team Geek.io gets $25.5 million from Gemini Man and third place. Team Game Night gets $37.8 million from the Addams Family and second place. And in first place, thanks to Jexy and Joker's strong weekends, it's Team Bot Squad with $213.3 million. That's your Stream Team Movie Draft Minute. For up-to-date listings, follow Stream Team Draft on Twitter.
Well, hey, if you look at your score, it's actually pretty easy to break down who made what. Because you've got 210 from Joker,
Yep.
3 million from Jexy, and basically 285 from Parasite. It's not often that you can look at the score and break it down that easily.
Yeah, that's true. Joker's still doing wonders for us. We're gonna continue. It might hit 300 million. I'm very happy with it.
I'm gonna say 250 is probably where it.
It's probably 250, and that's fine. I was hoping at least 200.
250 is
I'm very happy.
Not bad for winter.
I'm very happy so far with this. If I can hit 300 million, I am jazzed and feel really awesome about this. So then we have to talk a little bit about Jexy. Jexy, I expected it to actually be, a movie that people would go out and see because it's a good comedy and it looks funny. And, we don't have comedies like that anymore. Apparently nobody knew it existed. Has anybody seen the trailer for Jexy?
No.
That seems to be a problem.
But I don't watch trailers typically.
It looks hilarious.
The only time I see trailers is if I go to a movie and there hasn't been a movie in the theater in a long time that I've actually wanted to see. So yeah. And
the last thing we have to talk about is Parasite. So Parasite is a Korean film in Korean, and it's got amazing reviews. It is apparently one of the highest reviewed films of the year. It gets all kinds of awards. And when I picked that up, I was expecting it to make $60 million overall because, so it's kind of this indie thing. It's not going to make a lot of money, but it's going to be, because of the reviews, be pushed up a little bit and make some money. And so I decided to pick it up. It only opened in 3 theaters. Only 3. Mm-hmm. It has come in with some of the highest numbers ever for per theater, but that's only $384,000.
This is exactly what happened with Hotel Mumbai?
Yeah, they only opened it up in 25 theaters, and they never opened it wider.
No, it did eventually, but it was too late.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I feel actually worse about Jexy because it's actually because it should have done better because it was a wider opening. I feel only bad about Parasite because I feel like we're getting screwed in the fact we only got five different theaters or 3 different theaters to show it
For the opening weekend. There's a chance that it will
if it
go
opens up
wide eventually.
if it opens up wide like soon, it could be great. It could make that $60 million easily or more. But that's okay. But that's okay. Next week we're gonna own next week too with Maleficent. I'm sorry, Zombieland. You're just not going to be able to do as well.
No, I think people have been waiting for Zombieland 2 for so long. They're going to go see that. It's
Okay.
not they're not going to take their kids to Zombieland necessarily, but if I had to choose right now what movie I was going to see this weekend, I'm choosing Zombieland over Maleficent.
Well,
Partly because I've never watched the first Maleficent.
Well, the first one was actually good.
I have it on DVD upstairs. I've never watched it.
If you like watching bad guy win, watch it.
Yeah, I'll probably see Maleficent with my family this weekend. So I think Maleficent has the advantage of being a family-friendly show. It's something that the original was really good. And I think while some sequels struggle, others, especially good animated ones by Disney, tend to do fairly well. So I think there's a good chance this movie will do very well. Though I do agree, Zombieland is competition. It will take some of the dollars, but there's not a huge overlap. If I'm going to go see a movie with my family, I'll take them to Maleficent, not Zombieland.
Not Jojo
And
Rabbit?
If I'm likely to go see Zombieland.
Wait, is JoJo this weekend?
I'll probably go see it.
I
even if I
take
took
that
my
back.
kids
Sorry,
to
Zombieland. I'm going to see Jojo Rabbit this weekend.
Yeah,
It's fine. I hope all those Zombieland people go see Jojo Rabbit for you. I really do.
yeah. I want to see Zombieland as well. So I would be inclined to go see both if it wasn't for the fact that this weekend is insane and I have no chance. I'll be lucky to see anything.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting week. And then the current war got moved. Now it has its own weekend on October 25th, probably saving it a little bit because there were too many movies coming out on October 11th. And also, I just want to mention that Addams Family did much better than I expect. And Gemini Man is making exactly the amount of money it should be, quite frankly. So I'm sorry, Geek.io. But I don't want you to win anyway, so that's good.
All right. Well, why don't we get into some rants and raves before we shut this thing down?
Before we switch.
Oh, I already did.
You can rant about it on the other one. Or rave.
Yeah.
It's okay. Rant or rave, man.
I'm just leaving it there so he can't.
You!
All right.
You!
So I just, because I couldn't remember what Jojo Rabbit was, I typed it into Google and it popped up. And this review makes me want to go see the movie. It's the National Review says, movie review, Jojo Rabbit, Hitler satire is strained and childish.
Sounds good to me.
How could it not be? Like,
that's exactly
Hitler
what I
satire
want.
shouldn't be strained and childish. I mean, come on, so I'm like, okay.
Al-Anon approves, apparently.
All right. So who's got rant, rave? Go ahead.
So I didn't have anything last week because I was just too busy to do anything last week. So this week I've got 2. First one is I watched Far From Home finally, the Spider-Man film, and I really enjoyed it. If you like the first one, go see the second one. So Far From Home was excellent, and they did some really crazy things in the greater MCU universe. So if you are trying to follow up on that and be following with that because you were enjoying all the Avengers movies and you want to see where it goes next, this gives you a very good idea of where it's going to go next. And be ready for anything because, yep, everything's possible. And also, I found something, actually, was forwarded something that looks interesting to me, and I'm curious I might be really interested in seeing it. It's called Could You Survive the Movies? It is a free to watch special series that's going to be on YouTube, but it's YouTube Premium basically. But remember they're becoming free with ads. So, and it's basically, it looks like Mythbusters on YouTube. So, and I'm a Mythbusters freak, so this looks really good. I hope people. I'm going to check it out, and I hope other people check it out too.
Cool.
Yeah, that sounds pretty interesting. I'm definitely intrigued. I will throw out there the new show that I started watching, and so I've been seeing ads for this ever since I started watching Hulu, and I've been using Hulu TV to watch Boise State football. So that's, I should be raving about Boise State because they are kicking it this year. They are killing it. Super excited. But I'm not going to rave about that, except I sort of already did. But this show, I saw the commercials for it and I was like, oh, that looks so stupid. Why in the world would anybody watch that? But then we just had a little bit of downtime. And so we put on The Masked Singer, and it's freaking amazing. I love every second of this show. I can't wait. I almost just didn't show up so I could watch Masked Singer all night long. So the concept is they take famous people and they put them in full body suits and masks. Wow. So you have no idea who they are. You can't see their skin tone, anything. And, they're wild, outlandish costumes. And they sing. They mask their voice when they're talking. So there's a little bit of conversation, but they totally mask their voice. And then they sing.
And then the judges have to vote on whether it's good or not, right?
Yep. They vote on who's good. One person gets kicked off every night. And and then they reveal who they were. And so everybody guesses who they are. And it's kind of a little detective game. It's entertaining. Some of the people are freaking amazing. Okay, spoiler alert, close your ears if you don't want to know. I'm going to throw out a couple of names from the first season. You don't want to know?
I don't know. Should I?
I'll throw out one. Gladys Knight.
Oh.
So, seriously?
Just her, or were the Pips there also?
No, just her. But see, at least somebody knows music.
I know.
I mean, she has like
on that midnight train to Georgia. I know exactly.
Hey, you don't know Gladys Knight?
Yeah, she's huge. I mean, was huge in the 50s, but she's amazing. She's on.
Hey, 70s, my friend.
Yeah.
Okay. 70s. You're right. She started singing in the 50s. That was
yes. But she hit her mark in the 70s.
Yes, that's true.
Right.
She's an amazing singer, always has been, and she performs on there and just kills it every single episode.
Oh, she had an amazing voice.
Super huge.
Okay.
Loved it. So, there's a lot of other celebrities that are singers, that are not singers. Some of them are really good. Some of them are okay. And it's immensely entertaining. You should definitely watch it.
I know my kids enjoy it. I've just never been a big fan of the singing competition kind of shows. So
I usually am not. I watch stuff with my wife, but this one I love.
What channel is that?
Fox, right?
It's on Fox.
I think so.
Fox.
But you can watch it on Hulu TV or actually just on Hulu.
On Hulu. Yeah.
But I completely believe they got the idea from the dating game show Burning Love.
Okay.
Where in the first episode there was a lady in a bunny suit, and the dude dismissed her. Just said nope. She got dismissed on day one. Gets back to the limo, she takes off her hat or thing, and it was Jennifer Aniston.
How about that? But
yeah, if you haven't watched Burning Love, that's like the only dating game show worth watching. It's made by the same people that do like the Hot Wives of all the cities and Las Vegas, and
okay,
your parody shows.
Yeah, sounds fun.
But yeah, Burning Love, Nick Kroll. Okay, who's next?
All right, I'll go next. So last night, me and my wife, and I kind of stumbled on this. I think somebody, maybe Clyde or somebody, might have just briefly mentioned this. I don't know if it was on the show or maybe in the post show or something. But it's the show Get Shorty.
That was me.
Was it you, Matt? Okay,
Yes.
all right. So I knew somebody briefly mentioned it, whatever, and I just kind of stumbled across it last night, and I was like, oh, okay, you know what? I think I'm going to check this out, you know, because the Chris O'Dowd actor, you know, I think Clyde's a fan of his, so am I, and talked my wife into, you know, watching it with me. And there we loved it. We loved the first episode. She had to see the second episode, and I wanted to take a break after 2 episodes, right? But then she said, "Oh no, one more," right? So we watched 3 episodes last night. Really enjoyed that show. You know, can't wait to see the rest of it. You know, it's really good show. Well acted. There's a lot of well-known actors in there.
Oh, there's a guy. I don't know if anybody knows who he is. Ray Romano?
Ray Romano.
Yeah, Ray Romano.
Ray Romano.
Yeah, everybody hates Ray. It's okay.
Ray Romano's in it. Yeah, he plays a good part in it. And you know, there's some other actors and actresses in it that, you know, you've seen them in other bits, right? And all, but you know, also pretty good actors. But yeah, I mean, it's really entertaining. Just kind of, you know, it's a little bit comedy. It's a little bit action.
It's a good match, or it's a good mix of everything.
Yeah, a little bit soap
It's got
opera.
something for everyone.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a lot of things there mixed together, right? And it's really entertaining.
So it's interesting. I actually remember recommending to you to see the movie Get Shorty, but not the series.
Yeah, I went on at length about the TV show.
Okay.
And I've been waiting to find out if there was going to be a 3rd season, and luckily he just told me that the 3rd season is out. So
nice.
I'm going back to Epix. I'm coming. When the show is done, I will be watching season 3.
You can also watch this on Amazon Prime as well.
Okay,
maybe not the latest season, but you can at least watch it on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, and that's how I got into it. Was I had watched a previous season. I watched season 1 on someplace, and then I loved it, and then that prompted me to pay for Epix for a month or whatever to watch season 2. I need to go back and see what else is on Epix right now, because it might be time to resubscribe for a month or 2.
Epix almost always has some decent movies. So
yeah, but I don't watch movies at home. Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of content that is back, Letterkenny season 7 came to Hulu the other day. Unfortunately, that show is only like 6 episodes long, so I end up burning through it. But oh my god, it is one of my favorite shows on TV. If you like fast comedy with a lot of alliteration, then lots of wordplay. Letterkenny, all one word, Letterkenny. And there's a lot of people show up in the show that you end up recognizing from other stuff. Like I just finished watching the most recent season of Killjoys on Sci-Fi, and then I went back to I was watching Letterkenny the other day and went, oh, that's that girl from that. And then there's people from other stuff. It's your kind of low budget Canadian kind of show, and yeah, it's awesome. It's one of my favorite shows. But check it out. It's on Hulu. And apparently I'm going to go see Jojo Rabbit because Al-Anon says it was awesome, and he typically likes the stuff I like, so now I know I will like it.
Now is not a very good time to be a Nazi.
So, all right. Well, we'll go ahead and wrap this thing up. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us tonight. If you are watching this after the fact, we do this live every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Central here on Twitch. Come join us. You get to hang out in the chat and, you know, make fun of us and tell us when we're wrong or forget to turn off pre-show, you know, that kind of stuff. Also, you get to submit titles. So those of you that are here, stick around. Head on over to tvs.showbot.tv. We will be voting on titles here in the post show. BioCow has given us some new features. So now you can, if you vote on something you decide you didn't want to or it was an accident, you can unvote.
Talk about something to rave about.
And then there's some stuff for the mods that we can do. We'll talk about later. But
nice.
Awesome. Oh, and reminder, this Saturday is the October movie party. We will be watching the new movie from Sky Bar, Candy Corn, which he gave to me when I was down in Omaha. And then we will be watching Spider Baby it's Spider Baby or The Maddest Story Ever Told in honor of Sid Haig's passing. Because when I think of Sid Haig, I immediately think of that movie. That'll be 10 o'clock Central Saturday night. And Sky will probably be joining us again. He'll be on location shooting in Detroit. So whether or not he'll be able to is up in the air. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And rock on. I think that's it. And you guys got anything that I need to not forget about?
No, I think we're good.
Okay, thanks everybody. And stick around for the post show. We will get it there. Bye.
Bye.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.